Okay, so last time we talked about structs, and please give me your attention. If you have any question, I will ask for questions. So you just ask. So in case you, in my course of teaching, just jot down your questions so that you don't forget. Okay, I will ask you to answer me questions, and then I will receive your questions. But just pay attention and listen. Okay. Um, Last time we talked about structs, and then we said that structs are data types, like customized data types. That means we use structs to structure our data and then save it as a data type. Okay, so you see that um, we have different types of data types here. We have strings, we have unsigned integers, which is int, and we have boolean, which is bool. And all these guys cannot be stored in an array together because they have different data types. But what we did is that we save them structure, inside struct. We created a structure for it. We call it struct. Okay, created a structure for it, and then we now use this structure as a data type for these particular guys that we've called here. So this struct becomes our data type, and this strings use book becomes the customized data type inside the data type altogether. Now you see that we use an array here, and normally in our last slide I said when you are writing an array, when you're declaring an array, you use the data type, then you write your array symbol and then the array name. Okay, so here we didn't use integer, we didn't use non-integer, unsigned integer, sorry, uint. We didn't use uint, we didn't use bool, we didn't use string, but we use struct student, which is the struct we declared here. Okay, and then we use it for this array so that we can store these informations, we can get these informations from this function and then store it in an array so that we can use index to get the information we've stored in this array. Remember in our class when we talked about array, compact array, we said that um, you can arrays are sequence list of data, okay, that are stored of the same data type. All right. So every data we are going to be storing in this array is going to be of this data type, which is name, age, and whether the person is a student or not. And so we wrote a function, and then we said that this function is going to get name, which is this guy, is going to get age, which is this guy, is going to get bool, which is this guy. We declared it public, and then we got it. You understand? So this is our local variable which we declared here, which is new student. And then we said that this new student is of the data type student, which is in this struct here, and then we are saving it in memory. Okay, so I temporary storage space, why storage is a permanent storage space. So okay, so we are storing it in memory because this data is only going to be used when this function is called, and it's also gas efficient. Saves more gas in use memory than storage. All right, so we name our local variable new storage, and then we collected all this data, and then we stored it in this guy here. And then when we were calling our guys here, we said he came here and said that all these guys, all these inputs are of the data type students. Okay, remember for us to store students in our array, it has to be of the same data type. That's why we are saying that all these guys here are of this data type students. And then after we've declared this, we can now push our new student, which is this guy we have here, into our array, which is people here, you understand? So we can now store it inside altogether. Now, after that, we now wrote a function to get what to store. And by that, you know, arrays are are references. Okay, for you to get that reference, we use index. Okay, so we use index as a a way of retrieving information from the um, array. Remember, I said that arrays are listed and arranged in indexes. Okay, so we have the 0, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. So when you want to call, you don't call, you call them by their index. So that is why we wrote a function to get students, and then we put in the index. So whenever we put in the index and index, okay, it's going to give us this guy, which is our age, our name, our age, and our each student, okay. And then we said that this guy is retrieving it from where? We created a state variable, sorry, a local variable with this data type students, okay, which is from our struct, and then still memory because we are storing it in memory. And then we are saying that this student now, this student, a small letter, is equal to these people. That means we are getting our students from these people using index. And then when we get that, it's going to return student dot name, student dot age, student dot this guy. Understand? Student dot is student. All right, that is what we did. So this one was trying to I was trying to compare the syntax of here to our normal syntax and trying to add. I was trying to explain the differences between them. All right. So if you don't understand, I will run through another example again. All right, so 30 minutes gone from our time, so I will run through another example again, and so that we can grasp what we have learned so far. Okay, so let's assume that we want to create, let's say, login. All right, so we want to create login or sign up. And so people want to sign up, they sign up with their name, with their email, and their country, for example. So this field, they collect their name, their email, and their country, their country. All right. So we can use struct to do that. Okay. Remember, a contract can have more than one struct. You understand? Okay. So, and your functions, you call those structs that just as the way a contract can have more than one data type, that's how you can call more than one struct and more than one enums in your contract. All right. So let's write a contract. Let me call the contract. Let's call this contract um create accounts. Let's call this contract create account. For example, or let's call this contract my account. All right, so now we are going to create structs, and then we are going to be getting our whatever. So we are going to call this struct account. All right, so we are going to be getting our data. Okay, so first of all, everything you are going to be using here is going to be string because you are getting name, you are getting email, you are getting country. All right, so let's just put a string name, um email, country. All right, so just follow me as I do
Number.
it. All together. You said what?
I said, can we add number?
Okay. All right, let's add number. So let's add age. Um, are you good? Okay, so we've declared our struct. All right, so your struct can have as many things that as possible. All right, so you can say you can create a struct, and okay, it's called nested struct. All right, so that's in next future. I'm going to teach you that as we build projects together, we're going to use that for the sake of this class, so we don't confuse ourselves. The little one we know already, we've not understood it. So let's try and understand the concept of structs before trying to do complicated things. All right, so um, these are structs. Okay, these are structs, and then well, let's create an array. Let's create an array. Let's call the array um users. Let's call the array users. So remember our data type is what? Is account, Abi? The account, which is the one we just created, and then our array, and then users, and that's it. So we've created an array here. You can make it public, but it's not necessary right now. We don't want to see it. We just want to create an array and get what's inside the array. So we don't want to see the array. But if you make this guy public, you will see the array altogether. All right. So after that, we create a function to get these guys. All right. So we've created our structs, we've created our array. So let's create the function to get this information, just as the way we did here. Understand? So we are doing the same thing. All right. So let's create our function. Let's call our function create accounts. Okay. Let's call our function create account, and um so we are going to be getting, and because okay, let's do memory name. All right. H um email, and then string memory country. Now, if it's too long like this, you can actually just do it like this. Just bring this guy down. Okay, bring this guy down. Bring this guy down. Bring this guy down. So I've not done anything different. Okay, so I can just bring this guy down. So I've not done anything different. I just rearranged this whole thing so that it will look readable and it will look presentable. Okay, so we make this guy public. And then we create our guy. Yeah. All right. So what is this guy gonna do? Okay. So what is this guy gonna do?
Return.
No, it's not returning. We are not get. We are not returning. We are only setting our we are getting this information. We are creating our accounts now. So we are not returning anything. It's like when you want to return, when you want to create accounts, you understand? We are creating an account. Then answer
Okay,
from
like getting the data from
getting the data. We are not,
array.
you understand? We are not returning, we are getting the data. So what do we do here? Let me create space so that we see. So what do we do here actually? Remember
You
what
use
yeah,
okay.
remember what we did here. You understand? We created a new variable. You understand? We created a new variable, a local variable, and then we store these guys inside, like this account, which is the variable type, memory. Understand? Because we're storing it in memory, and then our new, let's call this variable, we are writing inside this function, new user. Huh? And so we say this new user now is now equal to still account. Okay, and then this account is now getting what? These informations. So you get, we are getting these informations, which is name, age, email, and country. So you understand? We get name.
Sorry, sir. Explain from this account again.
I'm coming. I said this, which account? This guy.
Yes, yes, yes. That line.
Okay, I said that when you are writing, we before you set. So what this function is supposed to do is to store, is to push this information to this array that we set here. Are we together? So what we first of all do is like saying that um you wrote a function and you say you int, okay, you declare the state variable already called x is equal to 5, and then you come to your local variable and say that y, you accept y. Now you write, let's say you write a function, and then you call the function, whatever, let's say y, understand, and then receiving you are receiving y. Understand? So the input is y. Already you have come here to declare u int x equals to y. So no, let's say you understand? Okay. And so you come here now and said public. Now this is something we'd already know, you understand? And so how do we make this guy? Shall we say x is equal to y? Abi?
Yeah.
So that x is equals to y. So that when you write another function, let's say when you write another function and say get x, for instance, okay, and then you say public view returns uint. Now you say return, what are you returning? Let's say we say return x. What do you see? You see that if you run this function, it's going to return x. Now remember, when you run this function, when you run this function, whatever you input you put here becomes x. And so when you call x here, x will return the function you give it here. Okay, get x will return the value you give it here. Let's say you input 5 here now, and so this 5 now is now stored in x. And so when you come to this function and return x, it's going to return the value of x, which is 5 that you input here. Are we together? Sure, we are together.
Yes.
Okay.
A bit.
That's the same logic we are using here. Okay. So we are saying that we are creating another variable here, which we have gotten all these guys. Which is this y that is here. Just like this y that is here. That's how we've gotten this input here. And then the same public. and then we are now saying that this x is equals to y. You understand? But in this case, we do not create a state variable. You understand? So what we are doing here is that we are storing these guys. We are storing these guys. You understand? So this guy is serving as our state variable. You understand? So for us to store this guy inside this array, we have to first of all gather all this data and put it in a variable, a local variable, and then store that variable inside the array. So you get. So don't think too much about it. It's not as difficult as it looks. Okay. So that's why we created this new user here. You understand? And we said that variable type here is this guy here that is here, account.
Good evening, sir. Sorry, please, sir. I want to ask question.
All right.
Thank you, sir. So from what I understand the struct part, I understand your account user, whatever. But this account user now, the array is account, right? The array we created here is account,
The
right?
array is not account.
Then
The
we are now
array is
putting it
account.
into a variable named user.
No.
Hmm.
The array is not account. The array is this guy. Yes,
Which one?
this is the array. This guy alerted here, that's the array. And then
Okay.
this array name, this is the name we gave to this, the name we gave to this array. And we said that the kind of data that will be stored in this array is account,
Struct.
which is the
Okay.
struct.
Oh, okay. Now I'm getting.
Sure you get. That's how to write an array. Remember, I gave an example here. Look at this guy. I gave an example here. I said that this, you know what unit is, Abi? What this guy means, Abi? This is a
Okay.
data type. And we said that list of people is the name of this array that we have created.
I understand now, sir.
Good. All right. So
So
can I continue?
no, sir. I'm coming. I'm almost done with my question. Sorry, sir.
All right.
So this is my function create account. Then inside the function, this is what I'm open to, like not return but to get at the end of the day. All this one inside the create account. Then we now have public. But this account memory says that we are bringing the data type account, right?
I don't get
And then
you.
this account in the second in line 52.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. This guy.
So
Yeah.
this account, the first account here is the account of the struct, like the data type of the struct, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, please just try and like explain that part more again. So we are storing this account into another this thing called new user.
Okay.
Is that
No. That's not what it is. Now, when they say data type is not the variable itself. Data type is a type of variable. So you get. So when I say new user here, I'm saying that this new user here, the type of this new user here is account. Account is its type. You understand? It's like when you have the charger cord and you say this is flat pin, this is type A, this is type C. You understand? The type C there is not the charger cord. It's just declaring its type. So you get. It's differentiating it from other types of charger. But it is not the charger itself, it's not the cord itself. So that's how this guy is. This guy is the cord, this guy is the type. And we created this type in this struct. Yeah. She gets, that's how we call it customizable data type. Like we are creating our own data type from the normal data types that we already know, which is like string, unit, boolean, bytes, and the rest. All together. All
okay,
together.
sir? Let's
So
continue.
are we storing the account inside the new user?
Okay, that's the question I was trying to answer just now. We are not storing these guys here. We are only saying that we are storing these guys inside new user. We are storing these guys. Okay, it's like this. Let me remove, let me delete. Listen, we are saying that new user, okay, is equal to these guys that we wrote here, which is name, okay, age, email, and country. Okay, all right, so we are saying that this guy is equals to this guy. So whenever they call new user, these guys will appear. Shall we get? I will say that these guys are input, and we'll call this input in this place already. But who is this guy? What type is it? And who is this guy? What type is it? Remember, we always say that the only data type we are using here is account, and we can only store account data type inside this array. So we cannot store unit. If I call this guy unit now, if I call this guy unit, it's not going to work because there is nowhere I have declared unit as a data type in this contract. Okay, so the only data type I have declared here is account. So that means this new user has to be account. And for us to use account, we have to save it somewhere, which that's why we are using memory. So we have solved the left-hand side of the equation. So for us to save this guy inside this new user, it has to be of the same data type because you cannot store Boolean inside integer. You cannot store string inside an integer variable. You understand? So you cannot have something like this, like uint, let's say Toby is equal to oh sorry, let's say Toby or let me say my name, for example. This thing cannot work. So you know this one cannot work. Why? Because this is a string data type and this is a unit data type. So you cannot store this guy inside this guy, except I change this guy to string. You understand? Good. So that is the same thing with when we are creating this variable now. You understand? We have said that this new user now is of account as a data type. The data type of new user now is account. So for us to make this guy of the same data type with this guy, we put account here. And we are saying that this whole data type is of this account here. That is it. And then we can now write our normal, remember how we push data in this thing, in array. We can now say our array name is users. So we can now say users dot what? Dot push. You get? And what are we pushing? We are pushing this new user that we just declared here. You don't finish. So we have successfully created a local variable which we cannot be pushing all these things, writing them one after the other. You understand? We cannot be writing them one after the other. So what we did is that we wrote them and then store it inside this new user. You get? We stored it inside this new user and then push the new user inside our array. You get? And the reason why we could push new user inside our array because our array new user is of account type, which is our array type. Understand? So that is it. Any question? Any question?
No, I don't have question like that too. It's not like I have question but I just want to clarify what I understand, like to you,
Okay,
sir.
okay, okay,
Thank you, sir. So the first thing we had to do was to create a contract, create a struct, and the struct we make it like an account. We named it account, right? And in
mhm,
the struct, it contains different data type. So when we got to this part, account users, we now created what do we call it? This the square box, an array, right?
okay.
Yes, so that users now, I'm yet to process what I'm trying to think of that users. Do you, because now you've used users now in this place, because at first I thought okay, that users is like the variable that is housing the array. Am I right with that?
You are wrong. I didn't say, I explained this line. I said that this user is the name of this array, and this account is the data type of the array. That means you are saying that this is the name of, okay, this is the name of this house, and this is the kind of people that can enter into this house. That is it.
Okay,
You
okay,
understand? This is
yes,
the
sir.
name, the name. So when I
Because
come here, I said that, um
so it's like
okay,
variable name, sir. It's like
yes,
variable name.
exactly. So this is the array name. You understand? So
Okay,
this array name is the house, and in
okay, sir.
the house, the name of the house is bungalow, and the kind of people that can enter the house is female.
Account.
So I
Okay,
come here and I say that, TEFEM, all of them, everybody name that I'm carrying here, they are all females, because here I said that the gender type is what, is female
email,
that can enter this bungalow. And then I come here and say that everybody that I'm collecting their data, they are all what, they are all
female.
female, and I carry those female, all of them, and I put them
Push
inside
them.
one particular container, and I push them into this bungalow.
Okay, sir. Well understood, sir.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So you understand this array, you understand this function, how to get the function, then you understand how to write the variables to get this function so that we can push this function into the array. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Now, haven't gotten our data. Okay. So let us fetch our data back now so that when we put in an index. Remember I said that you get informations from array with index. Hmm? You get informations from array with index because they are listed in index. Okay, so how do we get these guys that we have stored? All right. How do we get these guys that were stored? So we say that, write our normal function. So let's go this like get account. All right. Now we are going to be getting our input. All right. So we want to get a number. All right. So that when we put a number, let's say we've stored five accounts. You understand? So when we get number 5, when I put in 4, it's going to bring out the number 5th account. If I put in 2, it's going to give me the 3rd account that have been stored in the array. You understand? So I want to use index, a number, to fetch those data that have been stored in the array. You get? All right. So we're going to get our array. So let's call this guy index. Okay. Let's call this guy index. All right. And it's going to be giving us what?
returns
All right. So what is it returning? It's going to return name.
user.
It's
Yeah.
going to return age. It's going to return email, and it's going to return
Can
country. Okay. So for it to return name, so we have to use string memory for name. What am I writing?
that I want to say something.
All right.
So why the create the get account we are doing, we are getting the same like we are getting the data from create account. So
Yes.
is it possible that we just like since we already have it like in all these in a variable name, something like users, can't we just say returns user straight up? Must we rewrite everything like you should
So you
rewrite
can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. The reason why you can't is because first of all, if it's done that way, why you can't is because first of all, if it's done that way, it's going to complicate your codes when you are writing more complex codes. Okay. Then secondly, remember it when I was teaching about functions and object-oriented programming. I said that contracts are objects, functions are usability. Okay, functions are functionalities. Okay, so when you say door, you have to write a function to close the door, abi, and then you
yes.
have to write a function to open the door, abi.
Yes.
So why not write open and close in one function and call it open and close?
To be confusing.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And even at that, you see the syntax for creating and also storing and also retrieving. You see that the function for storing data is like payable. You are changing something in the blockchain. While the function to get is not changing anything in the blockchain. You are just calling a function, calling something already stored on the blockchain. So you cannot write those two things together in one function.
Interesting.
All right. So we are returning one,
Yes.
2, 3, 4. We are returning 4 variables, 4 outputs. Okay. So we are going to be stating our 4 outputs here. So we are returning strings. We are returning uints.
Okay.
We are returning string
String
and
memory.
string. Yes, string memory. Okay.
Curly brackets.
Yeah, and then we are okay. So we said that we are getting an index, and then we are using this index to reference this guy. Now remember, he said something that um since we are creating this guy, we are getting, why can't we get a function? Also, I want to say that we are creating this account, we are not storing this account in this function, we are storing it in this array here. You understand? So when we are calling, we are not calling this function, we are calling this
Yeah.
array. You understand? We should get that as well. All right, so
Yes, sir.
all together.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So remember we said that when we are creating our variable, we okay, let me use this approach I used earlier. So normally what we're supposed to do is that we are going to get let's call this one person. All right, and so this person is equal to this our user here. You understand? Users. And so this user now is going to get our index. All right. So what we are saying is that this person now is equal to this index, so that when you return person, you are going to return the the information that is stored in person. Okay, and the information that is stored in person is gotten from the array, which is users. So when you see users here, we are actually calling this array here. Okay, and we are saying that we are accessing this array using this index. Okay, but who is this person here? This person is of which data type? Because this array is comprised of data that are of this account alone. Okay, so we should know what we should do, right? So we declare our data type, and then we say it's what is memory here, but we are storing it in a temporary storage, which is memory. And then now, what are we returning? Okay, this is where it gets more interesting. What are we returning? We are returning person, but we cannot say person. Okay, we can't say person because if you return person like this, you are going to flag error. So let's
I still don't understand something, sir.
okay, what don't you understand?
This that user index, whatever. This place, that place.
This guy.
I'm sorry. Sorry, sir. Yes, like it's an array. What's the index? What's the function of the index?
Yeah, the index is to get. Remember, when I was teaching us array, I said that for you to access arrays, I even said in this class earlier that for you to access arrays, you have to use
Okay.
index.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Index a link to get that. Now, that's what we are doing here. We are getting this index. We are saying that when we tap one, we are going to
Get name.
get the informations in the position of one. You understand?
Okay, sir.
According to the index.
Okay, sir.
All right. So we are saying that we can't return person. Okay, we can't return person because when I save this one, when I run this one now, we run into
Error.
an error, and it says that different number of arguments in return statement. Understand? Now I am returning just one thing. I'm supposed to return. I'm supposed to return string. I'm supposed to return uints. Understand? I'm supposed to return string. I'm supposed to return uints. I'm supposed to return. You understand? These guys I said I'm going to return, I'm supposed to return them. So returning person alone will not return these guys. So what I have to do is that I will now say that I will return
Yes.
person dot name. Okay. Shall we get?
The name. So, okay. Is the name supposed to have a what do we call it now?
No, 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 no. We are not calling this name here. We are not calling this name here. We are calling this name here.
Okay, destruct.
Yes. She gets.
Okay.
Yeah. Person dot name. Person dot
H.
age.
Email. Country.
All right. So let's see if I can run it. So you see that there is no error at all, Abi. All right. So we said that we are returning this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Okay. So when we deploy this contract, let me see if we are, yeah, we are in that, right contract. So when we deploy this contract, and let me say I got a name, let me say I got I'm at um she's 26. Our email is I'm at profile at gmail.com. Country she's from um it's from Kenya. Okay, so I store that one. You see that the contract ran. Okay, let me store another one. Let me say I have genetics Abraham. She's 19. As our email is she's from South Africa. I have Amaka Kilichi. She's 26. Email is amaka@gmail.com. She's from Nigeria. I have Love Apia. She's 32. I Apia 24. She's from Ghana. Okay, so if I come here and put 0, okay, I'm going to see Ahmad Beauty 26, an email and a country. If I put 1, if I put 2, I'm going to see Amaka Kelechi from Nigeria. If I put 3, I'm going to see Love Apia from Ghana. If I put 1, I'm going to see Janet Braham from South Africa. All together. Do we understand?
Trying.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
We do. We do.
All right. So probably we can do a very good justice to our next assignment on structure. All right. So having learned struct, let us go a little bit deep into the water. Okay. Okay, let us learn mapping. Okay, what are mapping? Remember when we are writing, okay, first of all, let me read what I have here. So mapping is a reference type as arrays and struct. Following is the syntax declares a mapping type. Okay, so mapping allows you to save data and keep that data and the key that is specified and then retrieve the information later. Okay, so similar to struct or an array, it is a reference type. Okay, so in Solidity, you can't iterate or look through a map. You need to store the key in an array and you can't give size. All right, so what does that mean is that when you create an array, you can actually look through the array. When you create a map, you can't look through the map one, and then secondly, you can't get the size of the map. That is it. But arrays works like maps works like array, just that arrays get their reference from index, while maps get their reference from keys. Okay, I think when I was in university, they taught us in computer science, one-to-one mapping, one-to-many mapping, many-to-one mapping. Okay, so it means that one is linked to many, one is linked to one, and many is linked to one. That means you can get the information of many with one. You understand? So you can use just okay. Let's say, for example, um, you have so many accounts and then so many passwords, and then you save all your password in your Google account. Okay, so you can't remember all your account login passwords, but the only thing you should remember is your email password, because if you lost your email password, you've lost the all your accounts. So your email password becomes, or your email becomes the key to your other accounts. Okay, so that's how mapping is. All right, so mapping is about key and value. All right, so um key can be string, can be uint or bool, but value can be anything. All right, so the key is on the left side while the value is on the right side. All right, so the key is what you want to use in getting the value, the information. Understand? And the value. Understand? So the syntax for mapping is this. Let me copy this guy and just put it somewhere very different so that you can see it. All right, so this is the syntax for mapping. Okay, you write your mapping, you write your key, you write your value, you write your visibility, and you write your name. In other words, we can say that mapping can be written like this. Mapping, let's say you have your, okay, let me not rewrite this guy again. Okay, let me not rewrite this guy again. Let me just say that. All right, your visibility could be public, understand, and then your, all right, so this is how to write mapping. This is how to declare your mapping. Understand? You see, one thing when you are learning um um methods in Solidity, okay, I want you to put two things in consideration. First, how to declare it, and secondly, how to make use of it in functions, how to interact with it with other methods and in functions. You get? Okay, so just like the way we learned constructors and how constructors can be used in other contracts, or how constructors can be used in other functions, how we learned about enums and how enums can be called in functions. We learned about structs and how structs can be called in functions. We learned about arrays and how arrays can be called and used in functions. So that is the pattern, you understand? So when you are learning these things, you should put into consideration, how is it called, like this guy, how is it called, and how is it used in functions. So we understand? Do we understand? So and this is mapping. Okay, so let's write a contract. Let's write a contract. Let's put this into context so that we can understand. So let's write a contract. So let's call this contract then mapping. Okay. Okay, so let's write a very simple contract to actually tell us what we're doing, what are we talking about. Okay, so I said that I won't have deleted that guy. All right, so let me call this guy my mapping, my map. All right, this guy is going to be public, and then our key is going to be address, and I'll talk about this later, and then our value is going to be unit. All right, so let's close this, and then let us write a function to get this guy. Right, so let's write a function, and let's call this function set address. All right, and let's let's collect the address. Okay, so let's say now I want you to know that address is a global variable. Okay, it's a global data type. All right, sorry, I said global variable. It's a global data type. It's a global variable. You understand? It's a global keyword. Sorry, that's I think that's the right statement to use. The global keyword. Global keyword in the sense that it is you can't edit it. It's a fact. Understand? You can't change it. Is a constant. Is a constant. So whenever you are calling address, you are calling an actual address. Let's say like a contract address or a sender or a smart contract address or a wallet address. That is it. Address cannot be anything other than that. Either a contract address or a wallet address. Okay, so just like you, unlike units that can be anything, can be age, can be this, can as long number is concerned. But address is address. Okay, so whenever you are using address, you have to address it as address. All right. Okay, so let's get an input address. Okay, and let's also get an input. Let me call this guy index because we are going to be using it um, as our key. All right, so let's call our map. Okay, let's call our map. So let's call it my map. All right, and I just want to show us how to call it inside a function. All right, so we're saying that this my map is equals to index. Okay, all together. All right, so the same way we set we call um arrays. Okay, the same way we call arrays, the same way we link index to mapping to sorry to our array. That's how we also link mappings to our key. Okay, so the only difference is that this guy can be anything. This guy can be index, this guy can be another address, this guy can be something else. Okay, this guy can even be another mapping self. You can map another mapping to a mapping. Understand? You can map another mapping self. That's um nested mapping. Okay, you can map a mapping. Understand? So you can map anything, unlike arrays that you can only reference your array to an index. You can reference mappings to anything. So for the sake of this example, we are using an index to link an input to link our address. Okay, so let's get what we that one is to set it. So let's get it remove. So let's get our address. And so we said that the input is going to be um So the input is going to be address. Let's use address. Okay. Okay, I will explain a bit why the input is address. Okay, are we returning address? No, we are returning we've already map address to uint, so we are not returning address, we are returning uint. Okay, so let's so return my map. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Okay, so look at what happened. Somebody say like, okay, you are having input as address and you are returning uint. Why? Remember we said that we are mapping our address to our uint, so we are imputing address to get uint. I repeat again, you are imputing address to get uint because our value according to this thing is the key. The key is to your right, which you use in getting our value, which is sorry, the key is to your left, which you use in getting our value, which is your right. So this guy is going to like the arrow, this guy is going to link us to this guy. So when we are getting our address, we are getting our value, you understand, the index, which number it is, we are getting, we are using address. All right, so it can be the other way around. Here can be uint and here can be address, so that when we put in the number, the address will show. Okay, so but for the sake of this class, we are doing it this way. Okay, so we okay, so we can save and let's deploy. So if we deploy this contract, you see that now they are asking me to impute my address. So let's copy an address. So this is an address. Okay, this is an address. So let me get the address. Okay, let me put the address here. Set it. Okay, so if I come on and paste it, I'll see 0. Okay, so let me change the account. All right, let me copy this guy. Let me put it here. Let me save it here. So if I put this account now, okay, so let me thank you.
So I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Okay, so can you still hear me? All right, so we been able to set our accounts, and then so that we can get our accounts, and then when we put in our address, I said account, sorry. When we put in our address, we can store it, and then we can retrieve it using our address. Okay, let's assume that we use the other way. So let's say this guy is okay, and then all right, let's see something. Oh, sorry. Still the same thing, Sha. Let me get this contract. Let me store it here. Okay. Let me call it one transacts. Let me get this one and copy it. Let me store it. Let me call it two transacts. So when I put one, I get this thing. When I put two, I get another contract. Okay. So if let's say for example, listen, let's say for example, now what I did here is that I use my number as the I use my number as the key, and I use the address as the value. So I'm mapping my number to my address. Okay. So let's say for example we went back to, so that when I put number one, because I'm storing this address is this guy to the number. Now I'm assigning number to it, and then I store it. When I call that number I assigned to that address, it's going to bring the excuse me, it's going to bring the address. So let's do it the other way around. Let's do it the other way around. Let's see how this one goes. So, oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, so let's deploy this guy, and then let's see what we've got. So I have this address here. Control V. Oh, sorry, my bad. Let me copy this address. I have this address copied. Okay, let me put it here. Is the address. This one is 1. I'll save it. Okay, so I copied this address, and come on, paste it here. I call this one 2. Okay, so when I call 1, oh sorry, when I paste this address here, this time I'm mapping it, I'm going to get 2. Okay, if I paste this other address, which is this one, if I copy it and come and paste it here, I'm going to get 1. Now you can also map address to name. You understand? You can map address to name. Remember I said that the value can be anything. All right. So let's take, for example, let's change this guy to string. All right. And then let's say that this guy is okay, let's map. It's going to be easy for us to get our name, so that let's map our name to address. Okay, so that when we put the person's name, the person's address is going to show. All right, so let's call this guy string memory. Let's call this guy name. Okay, so let's call this guy address. So let's call this guy name. Right. So what are we getting? We are getting inputting string memory, and we are returning address. Okay, and then we are mapping, sorry, name. So let's save this guy. All right, so let's deploy, and let's do what we did that first time. So let's save this guy, and and this person's name is John. Okay, so let's get this guy, copy, and okay, that my snare was hanging. Okay, and this guy's name is Mary. All right, and lastly, let's get this name and this one, and please remember the names you are using, so that I will not forget this guy, John, Mary, and Bruce. Okay, so if I put John here, sorry, now also know that it's case sensitive as well. All right, it's give me 0 this thing. Let me, sorry for spelling your name wrongly. So when I put John, it gave me John's email, it gave me John's
Address.
address. Okay, so when I put Mary, it gave me Mary's address. So when I put Who else? Ruth. Sorry. He gave me root address. So if I put somebody that is not here, let's say Kate, understand, it's going to give me no address because no address is saved with Kate. No address is under Kate. So that's how mapping works. Okay, I can't do that with array. All right, array works with with index. Remember, array works with index while mapping works with keys. Okay, but still both of them stores strings of information, understand, sequences of information, but one retrieves information via index, the other one retrieves this information via key. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, sir. But we don't understand the coding.
Is it
I say yes, sir, but we don't understand the code. Oh.
okay? That's how you do not understand in announce and instruct. But though we will take it step by step. I didn't expect you to understand. But if you for those of us that understood, very well, I appreciate. For those of us that don't understand, you're still on the right track. Now let me explain it bit by bit. Okay. Like I said, but you understand this syntax, this mapping syntax.
Why are we using equal to or greater than?
If you put them together, don't it look like an arrow? It's an arrow pointing to this. You understand? We are saying that this is not greater than or equal to or greater than. Greater than or equal to is written like this. Greater than or equal to. This is greater than or equal to. Okay? This one here is greater than or equal to. This one here is not greater than or equal to. Okay? So this one is like an arrow. This is not like an arrow. It's like saying an arrow pointing to this. So we are using this string to fetch this address. So we are using this guy to access this guy. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is it first of all. And then we said that we made it public. You can actually decide not to make it public, but we made it public and then we gave it a name. After that, we wrote a function to set the address. Okay, we wrote a function to set the address, and then the we said that this address, we got two inputs. So because before you can map any two data, so you have to, the data has to be available. You understand? We have to get those two data first. So that's why we got these two guys. You understand? We got this and we got this. Okay, we got this and we got this. You understand? And then we said that this guy, which is our struct, okay, this guy is now equals to this guy. Now listen. Remember that our struct says inside our mapping, yeah, outside our mapping, inside we have the name, Abi, which is string. Let me see, which is directing to, which is pointing us towards to address. Okay, that's what this guy is. This guy is doing the same thing. My map, which is the name, which is calling this map, is not saying that this name. Okay, now why is it that this name is in like an array? It's an array because it's also storing strings of data, like it's like a storage, you understand, like an array, but this time the array, this kind of array works differently, you understand. All right, I will not call it array, it's mapping, but it works like an array. This code, this syntax, this phrase is telling us that there are informations inside this guy. Okay, there are informations inside this guy, and now this is the mapping. This is the key. Okay, so this is the key, and what is outside here is the value. So we are using this key to get this value. So we are using this string to get address. That's why we said name, which is string, is equal to address, which is address. Okay, so having said that, we set our keys, and now we'll now come back and say get address. So what are we getting? So we are imputing this our input and this our output. Okay, it's very funny, but it works because of the mapping that you are calling here. Understand? This works because of the mapping you are calling here. Now the input is your what? The input is your what? Is your key. Then the output is your what? Your value. So for you to get the input, you have to call the input here, and it returns your value. And then you return what? Return the mapping, which is my name, and this name here that you have here. You are not saying that this guy is equal to this guy. You are saying that this name now is equal to this guy, and then you come back here and call this guy. So we understand. So that when you call this guy will return this guy. Once you call this guy will return this guy. That's the simple syntax of mapping. So let's assume we want to delete. Okay. So let's assume we want to delete. It's still the same thing. Okay, nothing different, still the same thing. You write a function, and what are we deleting? We are deleting our address, abi. So let's call it remove. Cannot call it delete now. Let's call it remove address. Okay, so let's intake address, because it's address we want to remove now, abi. And then we'll now say public. Now we are not returning anything, we just want to remove something. Okay, what are we deleting? We are deleting my map, and we are deleting address. All right, so if we run this guy now, if you want to run this thing, your within call, if you want to run without compile your contract, sorry, without pressing here, okay, you can just press your Control X to do a quick one. So let's get the error. The type address is not implicitly compatible to a string memory. What did I write? There's no string memory here. So there's no string memory there. So why is it flagging error? Yeah, started again. Okay, so let me use this guy. Um, okay, sorry, we're trying to delete the wrong thing. All right, so when you want to delete, okay, what you want to delete, you delete. We are deleting the key. Okay, what you want to delete, you are deleting the key and not the value. All right, so we are deleting the mapping. The mapping is about the key and not the value. All right, so it does that. What the value does is, what the key does is to direct us to where the value is. And when you are creating mapping, the most important thing is the key. Okay, so when you want to delete the mapping, you don't delete the value, you delete the key. Sorry, my bad. I didn't get that. All right, so guys understand that don't delete the value. I thought I was deleting the value. Sorry, the key, not knowing that it was the value. So that was it about it. Okay, so let's run this guy. Let's see the abracadabra we have done. We have we have done. Okay, so um oh, these are remove this thing. All right, so let's copy our address this time. Paste. Let's call it John. For instance, let's copy our second address. Okay, so let's call it Kate. So if I remove Kate, let's say I remove Kate. If I remove Kate, all right, if I come here and click on, now if I come here and, oh, see, I've removed Kate and added Kate again. So let me remove Kate. Let me add Kate. Let me put Kate here. So let me add Kate again, and let me put Kate. Oh, sorry, my bad. Hold on. Okay, so let me get John. All right, I got John. Let me come and remove John. If I get John again, it's going to remove 0. Okay, so I have added John and I've deleted John. I added Kate and I deleted Kate. Okay, so if I come here and get Kate, you see that I have Kate here. So if I come here and remove Kate, now that's Kate's address. If I come here and remove Kate, okay, and then I click on Kate, you see that it has deleted. Now, remember when you are deleting from array, you cannot delete like this, okay? You cannot delete randomly, all right? You cannot call randomly. You cannot delete randomly by using the pop and the push, except you want to use a special um, method in deleting from an array. Understand? Let's say we have index 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to delete from index, you want to delete index 3. There's a way you can delete index 3, but it's easier deleting from with mapping, because it's you just have to use, and then you can access the the value. You understand? And then secondly, when it comes to gas efficiency, it is very easier to use maps in getting. It's easier to get information from maps than mapping than to get information from array, because when you want to get information from array, you have to look through it. Okay, but in mappings you don't need to look through it. All right, so it's very easy and it's gas efficient as well. Doesn't mean that you don't use array. There are places where you use arrays and there are places where you use mappings. Okay, so in the course of your journey as a blockchain developer, you will get to encounter stuff like that, and you have to fix it. Any question? Any question? So I have turned this upside down, change so that we can get the concept. Any question? Hmm? Any question? Okay.
Yeah, my network
Um.
is disturbing. I don't really understanding, but I watched the video.
Oh, all right. No wala. Okay. So now, our time is fast spent. Okay, our time is fast spent, but I want us to try something. I want us to try something very, very, very unique. I want us to try something very unique. Okay. So I um here's our strokes. Here's our strokes. Okay. So these are our strokes. All right. So we have these these contracts. Okay, length strokes. I want us to go and, instead of us to use array, you understand, let's use mapping. Okay, instead of us to use array, let's use mapping. Okay, let's map address to the students. Okay, so that when we okay, so that when we call the address, it's going to give us these informations. It's going to give us these informations. Okay, or this guy, this struct. Okay, let's use this struct because this struct is more relatable. You understand? It's like, okay, this every user is linked to an address. Okay, so I want you to write a a a mapping. Okay, I want to change this array to mapping. All right, it's not difficult. It's very, very, very simple. All right, so I want to convert this guy to. You just try it. Just try it. Just try it. Okay, go through this code and see if you can convert the array to. If you can convert the array from this contract from using array to mappings. Okay, and then you map whatever information. If you're using accounts, to you map accounts to address. Okay, so that when you put in the address, you can get in the user details. All right. And then secondly, okay, either use this contract. Okay, let's all try one contract. Okay, so let's use this let's use this student contracts. All right. So let's use student contracts. Let's go try it. All right. Let's go try it. But for your weekend, while you try that, um I want us to really get busy this weekend. Um exercises strengthens in our mental nerves. The more you try, the more you learn. If you're not trying, you won't learn. Okay, you don't make mistakes, you won't learn. All right, so okay, so let's have our exercise. I think I wrote it somewhere. Let me go copy it. All right, so our assignment is going to be very simple. So we are going to okay. So let's try this. Let's try this. Okay, so let's try this. Let's try this guy. All right. So is it that okay? Let's try this. So you don't need to do that. So let's try this. So create a unique data type as a struct called movie. Give it give it properties name and director. So you're only getting two properties name and director, and then create a map called movie, which takes a uint as a key and the struct movie as the value. All right, so create a function called add movie, which takes three inputs: movie ID, title, and director director name, which assigns a value of an integer to a movie added to the movie map. It should include the title and director name, okay, and then deploy the contract and update the movie map. All right, so what we've done here is no different from what we've done in this particular place. So the only difference is that you are going to be creating a struct, and the struct is going to be the data type here. So whenever you create an input, three inputs here, and then you map this guy to the index, to the ID. All right, so that when you call the ID, when you use impute the ID, it's going to bring out the movie name and the movie director. All right, so try this, play with this. It's not difficult. All right, just put your head down. It's not, I swear it's not difficult. So put your head down and just look at it very well, address it bit by bit. All right, if you can still play, you can still play further and try and look at that other contract. Okay, so on Monday we are going to be um, looking at the struct we did and convert it to map, and then we are going to start writing our mini projects. All right, so I wish you good luck with this. Okay, so any questions so far? So you see that this assignment is just four. It's not long, just four. Any questions so far? Yes, any question? Okay, in the absence of no question, that means you understood very, very, very well. All right. Try our best to upload a video as soon as possible, so you can always go back to it and reference on it while you do your assignments. And please and please and please and beg us, some of us don't do our assignments and it's not nice. If you want to get your hands on it, you have to exercise your brain. You have to exercise your mind. Okay, you cannot just be learning and not trying. You have to exercise your mind and try things. Okay, so that when wherever you fail and they correct you, you will not forget. Okay, you will not forget. And secondly, don't be scared to make mistakes. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Nobody will judge you. I will not judge you. All right. Don't be scared to make mistakes. And I really appreciate it if I see assignments from Afolabi, from Kemi, from Delight, from Christabel, from Chidera, definitely Chidera. I'll kill her if I don't. From Jessica, and from all of us in general, all of us that are in this class, I will appreciate to see your assignment. Please submit your assignments to the class captain. Okay, and that's it. Any question? All right, thank you very much. To have a great day. Please before submit your assignments on or before Monday afternoon so that I can look at it. Um, I can look at it before class. Okay. We saw that we went through our last assignment from the assignments we submitted and we learned something. Okay. The mistakes that was spotted out today will not be will not be will not be repeated. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.